All right, everybody, welcome to another deep dive.
Mm.
Today, we are going to be talking about how to make your home more energy efficient
Oh.
and how to boost your financial well-being along the way.
Yeah.
We have gone through a ton of resources for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
We've got practical homeowner guides, detailed breakdowns of financing options,
Right.
all kinds of government incentive information, and we've got links to all of that on the page below.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to give you guys the shortcut to this information so you can start saving money on those energy bills,
Yeah.
increase your home value, and take a big step towards a more sustainable future for everyone. So
Right.
let's get into it. I think the first question that we need to really hit on here is why should any homeowner care about making their home more energy efficient? What's in it for them?
It comes back to those three things you just mentioned,
Oh,
right? Saving money on your energy bills.
yeah.
The average American family spends about $200 a year on energy. So if you can reduce that by even, 25 or 30% through energy efficiency upgrades, that's a big chunk of change.
It's huge, yeah.
Second, your home value studies show that energy efficient homes can sell for anywhere from 2.7%
Wow,
to 9% more than less efficient homes.
9%.
So that's a huge return on your investment when you decide to sell.
Yeah,
And then finally, even though it might not be the main motivator for everybody, improving your home's energy efficiency is also good for the environment.
absolutely, yeah.
So you're saving money, you're adding value to your home, and you're doing a little something to help the planet.
Right, you're contributing to a greener future all around, so
Yeah, exactly.
it sounds like there's no downside to this.
Yeah.
But of course, a lot of people, the biggest hurdle is the initial cost of these upgrades.
Yeah.
So let's get into the good stuff.
Right.
Let's talk about energy efficiency loans. What are some of the financing options available to homeowners out there?
Well, there are a few different ways you can finance energy efficiency upgrades.
Yeah.
One option is a HERO loan.
A hero loan.
Yeah, it stands for Home Energy Renovation Opportunity,
Okay.
and it's tied to your property.
Okay.
So it's a good option if you have good equity in your home, but maybe not the best credit score.
Okay, so even if your credit's not perfect, you can still get this loan.
Exactly. And, a lot of people use HERO loans for things like solar panel installations.
Okay.
And the cool thing about HERO loans is that the repayment is usually rolled into your property taxes.
Oh, okay.
And the interest you pay might even be tax deductible.
Nice.
But there's one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah.
When you sell your house, the loan stays with the property.
So you'd have to let the buyer know about it.
Yeah, definitely. It's important to be upfront about that.
Yeah. Okay. What about PACE financing? Is that the same kind of thing?
It is similar to HERO loans in the sense that it's repaid through your property taxes.
Okay.
But PACE financing is usually sponsored by local governments.
Okay.
And it's often a good choice for larger projects that cost more upfront. Like if you're replacing all the windows in your house
Okay.
with energy efficient ones.
So bigger projects that you need a little help with.
Exactly. And sometimes PACE financing can be transferred to a new owner when you sell your home,
Okay.
but it's not available everywhere.
Oh, okay.
And it can be more expensive than some other loan options.
Right, right. So we talked about these property-linked loans. What are some other loan types?
Well, there's also something called an energy efficient mortgage, or EM.
An EEM?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's basically a mortgage that includes the cost of energy efficiency upgrades.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so you can either add it to your existing mortgage if you're refinancing, or you can get it as part of a new mortgage if you're buying a house.
So if you're buying a house or you're refinancing anyway, just roll it all in.
Exactly. And it's a great way to finance things like a new HVAC system.
Okay.
One advantage of an EM is that you might get a lower interest rate because it's part of your main mortgage.
Okay.
But of course, it's going to increase your overall mortgage amount. And you'll usually need an energy assessment to see which upgrades are eligible.
Okay, so they make sure you're actually getting something that's efficient.
Right.
Okay. But what about people who are maybe looking at smaller projects or they don't have a lot of equity in their home yet? What can they do?
Well, for them, a personal loan might be a good option.
Okay.
Personal loans aren't tied to your property, so you have more flexibility with how you use the money.
Okay.
They can be good for things like upgrading to energy-efficient appliances.
Right, smaller projects.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got a lot of different types of loans here.
Yeah.
What are some general requirements that homeowners need to meet to qualify for these?
So the exact requirements are going to vary depending on the lender and the type of loan.
Right, of course.
But Generally speaking, lenders are going to look at your credit score.
Okay.
Usually a score of 640 or higher is needed to get the best rates.
Makes sense.
They'll also want to check your income and employment history
Right.
just to make sure you can repay the loan. And for loans that are tied to your property, like Hero and PACE loans,
Yeah.
they're going to look at how much equity you have in your home.
Okay.
You might need 10 or 20% equity to qualify.
All right. So that's kind of the big picture of what you need to qualify.
Yeah.
Now, can you walk me through the application process? What does that actually look like?
So the first thing you need to do is do your research.
Right.
Right? You want to compare different loan options.
Okay.
See what's available in your area.
Yeah.
Once you find a lender, you gather all the necessary documents like pay stubs, tax returns, proof of home ownership.
Right. The usual stuff.
Yep. Then you submit your application.
Okay.
And you usually get pre-approved, which gives you an estimate of the loan amount and interest rate you might qualify for.
Okay. But that's not a guarantee.
Not a guarantee, right?
Okay.
Then you finalize the loan details.
Right.
And then you close on the loan.
Okay. So it's pretty straightforward, it sounds like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So we talked about all these different options. How does someone actually choose the right loan for their needs?
Well, interest rates are a huge factor.
Of course.
Even a small difference in interest rates can save you a lot of money over the life of the loan.
Like how much are we talking?
I mean, let's say you get a $10,000 loan for 5 years.
Okay.
A 1% lower interest rate could save you about $250 in total interest.
That's a nice dinner.
Exactly.
Okay, so definitely pay attention to that.
Yeah. The loan term is also important.
What do you mean?
Well, shorter terms mean higher monthly payments, but you pay less interest overall.
Right.
And longer terms mean lower monthly payments, but you end up paying more interest in the long run.
Okay, so you got to weigh your options there.
Right. You also need to see if you're even eligible for each type of loan.
Right.
And pay attention to any fees or costs associated with the loan.
Like what?
Things like origination fees, closing costs, prepayment penalties.
Okay.
These can really add up. I mean, a 2% origination fee on a $15,000 loan is $300.
Yeah. So factor that in.
Absolutely. Use online comparison tools to see offers from different lenders.
Okay.
And talk to a financial advisor if you need help.
That's always a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any common mistakes that people make when taking out these loans?
Yeah, some people don't read the fine print, especially those prepayment penalties.
Right.
Some people also underestimate the cost of the project
Right.
or overestimate how much energy they're going to save.
Right.
And don't just focus on the monthly payment.
Right. Look at the total cost.
Exactly. And remember, with PACE loans,
Yeah.
it could affect your ability to sell your home.
Right. Right. Okay, so we've covered loans.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about government incentives and tax credits.
Okay.
What kind of help is out there?
Well, at the federal level, there's the Residential Renewable Energy Tax Credit.
Okay.
This gives you a tax credit for 30% of the cost of installing renewable energy systems.
Like what kind of systems?
Things like solar panels,
Okay.
wind turbines, geothermal heat pumps, even fuel cell systems.
Wow.
And there's no upper limit on the credit.
Really? So you could really save a lot of money.
Yeah, like if you install a $20,000 solar panel system,
Okay.
you could get a $6,000 tax credit.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a great incentive.
Okay. Any other federal incentives?
Yeah, there's the Energy Efficient Home Improvement Credit.
Okay.
This gives you a tax credit for making energy-efficient upgrades to your existing home.
Like what?
Things like adding insulation, installing energy-efficient windows and doors, upgrading your roof, getting a high-efficiency heat pump or water heater.
Wow, that covers a lot.
Yeah, the total annual credit is up to $200.
Okay.
But there are limits for different types of improvements.
Okay, so like what kind of limits?
Well, for example, you can get up to $600 for energy-efficient windows
Okay.
and up to $2,000 for a heat pump.
Okay.
So it depends on what you're doing.
Right, right. Are there any other federal programs?
Yeah, you can also look into Energy Star rebate programs.
Okay.
These programs give you rebates for buying Energy Star certified products.
Like appliances and stuff.
Exactly. And the rebate amounts vary, but they're usually between $50 and $500.
Okay, so a nice little bonus there.
Yeah, you could get like a $100 rebate for an Energy Star refrigerator, for example.
Oh, nice. Okay. So those are the federal programs.
Yeah.
What about state and local incentives? Are those pretty much the same everywhere?
No, they vary a lot.
Okay.
It really depends on where you live.
Okay.
For example, some states like California give you a property tax exclusion for installing solar panels.
Right?
Some states like New York give you a state income tax credit for solar investments.
Okay.
Texas offers a property tax exemption for renewable energy devices.
Okay.
And then you have local governments that offer their own incentives.
So you got to check with your city or county.
Yeah, like the city of Austin, Texas has offered rebates up to $800 for home energy improvements.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and a lot of utility companies offer rebates too.
Really?
Yeah, like PG&E in California has offered rebates up to $1,000 for insulation upgrades.
Oh, wow. So you can really stack these savings.
Absolutely, it's worth doing your research.
Definitely. Okay, so how do you actually qualify for these incentives and tax credits?
Well, you need to keep good records of all your purchases and invoices.
Okay.
For federal tax credits, you'll need to file IRS Form 5695 with your tax return.
Right.
And for state and local incentives, the process varies.
Okay.
So check the websites of the programs you're interested in.
So a little bit of legwork involved, but
Yeah, but it's worth it.
potentially big savings.
Exactly.
Okay. Any tips for maximizing these benefits?
Yeah, see if you can combine different incentives, like federal, state, and local incentives for the same project.
So stack those incentives.
Yep. Also be strategic about the timing of your projects.
What do you mean?
Well, some incentives have annual limits. So if you have a big project, you might want to break it up into stages over 2 years.
To get the maximum benefit.
Exactly. And always pay attention to deadlines.
Right.
Make sure you don't miss out on any rebates or tax credits.
Okay. Any common mistakes to avoid?
Yeah, make sure you don't miss those deadlines.
Right.
And make sure your applications are complete and accurate.
Makes sense.
And double check the eligibility criteria before you start the project.
Okay. Good advice.
If you need more information, you can check out the DSIRE website.
How do you spell that?
It's DSIREUSA.org.
Oh.
And the energy.gov tax credits page.
All right. Great resources. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. So we've talked about financial assistance
Yeah.
now. Let's talk about the return on investment.
Okay.
The ROI of these upgrades. How do we calculate that?
So the basic formula is total savings plus increase in home value minus the initial cost of the upgrade.
Okay.
All divided by the initial cost and then multiplied by 100 to get a percentage.
Okay. So it takes into account the savings, the increase in value, and the upfront cost.
Right.
Okay. Let's look at some specific upgrades. What about insulation and weatherization?
So insulation and weatherization are usually pretty cost effective.
Okay.
You might spend between $1,500 and $2,500 for the average home.
Okay.
And you could save up to 15% on your heating and cooling bills.
Okay.
And in colder climates, the ROI on insulation can be over 100%.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like if you spend $2,000 on insulation and you save $300 a year on energy,
Okay.
that's a 15% annual return.
So it pays for itself pretty quickly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. What about energy efficient windows and doors?
Those are a bigger investment,
Go.
usually between $8,000 and $24,000 to replace all the windows and doors in an average home.
Wow. Okay.
You might save $250 to $500 a year on energy,
Okay.
but the real ROI comes from the increased home value.
Okay.
Studies show that you can recoup 70 to 80% of the cost in home value.
So if you spend $10,000, you could add $7,000 or $8,000 to your home's value.
Exactly.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. What about HVAC systems?
A high-efficiency HVAC system can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000.
Okay.
But you could save 20 to 40% on your heating and cooling costs.
Wow.
And the ROI can be over 100% over the life of the system.
Okay.
For example, a $6,000 system that saves you $500 a year will pay for itself in about 12 years.
Okay.
And that's not even counting the increase in home value.
Right. So it's even better than that.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about solar panels. What kind of ROI are we looking at there?
Solar panels are a bigger investment upfront.
Yeah.
Usually $15,000 to $25,000 after tax credits.
Right.
But the long-term benefits are huge.
No.
You could save $1,000 to $1,500 a year on electricity.
Okay.
And over the life of the system, the ROI can be over 200%. A $20,000 system could save you $30,000 to $60,000 or more over 25 to 30 years.
That's a huge amount of money.
It is.
Okay. What about smaller upgrades like smart thermostats?
Smart thermostats are a great way to get a quick return on your investment.
Okay.
They cost $200 to $500.
Okay.
And you could save 10 to 15% on your heating and cooling.
Okay.
And the ROI can be over 100% in the first year or two.
Really?
Yeah, a $250 thermostat that saves you $180 a year will pay for itself in less than 18 months.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Okay, so we've seen the numbers. What about the overall impact of energy efficiency on home value? How do buyers and appraisers view it?
Well, buyers love energy-efficient homes.
Okay.
Studies show that energy-efficient homes sell for 2.7 to 9% more than less efficient homes.
Wow.
And appraisers are starting to factor in energy efficiency more and more. They look for things like Energy Star certifications, home energy scores, and documented low energy use.
Okay.
And a lot of buyers specifically want energy efficient homes.
Really?
Yeah, some surveys say that 80% of buyers consider it an important factor.
Wow.
Things like solar panels can be a big selling point.
Yeah.
A study in California found that homes with solar panels sold for an average of $17,000 more than similar homes without solar.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it really shows how much buyers value energy efficiency.
Okay, so for a homeowner who's trying to figure out which upgrades to prioritize, what advice would you give them?
I would say do a cost-benefit analysis.
Okay.
A simple way to compare upgrades is to divide the total cost by the estimated annual energy savings.
Okay.
That'll give you a rough idea of the payback period.
Right, like how long until you make your money back?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, for example, insulation might have a payback period of 6 to 7 years,
Okay.
while a smart thermostat might have a payback period of less than 2 years. You also need to think about your personal circumstances
Right.
and whether you're planning to stay in your home for a long time or sell it soon.
Right.
If you're staying, put a big investment like solar panels might be a good idea.
Okay.
But if you're selling soon, you might want to focus on smaller upgrades with faster payback periods.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you give us a quick rundown of the top 10 energy-efficient home improvements and maybe some financing options for each one?
Sure. So number one is improving insulation and weatherization.
Okay.
You could save up to 15% on your energy bills, and you could finance it with a home equity loan, FHA Power Saver loan, or maybe even a grant from the Weatherization Assistance Program.
Wow, okay.
Number two is installing energy-efficient windows and doors. You could save $250 to $500 a year, and you could finance it with PACE financing or look for utility rebates.
Okay.
Number three is upgrading to a high-efficiency HVAC system. You could save 20 to 40% on heating and cooling, and you could finance it with a Fannie Mae home-style energy mortgage, which usually has terms of 5 to 15 years and interest rates of 5 to 7%.
Wow, okay.
Plus, there are federal tax credits up to $500.
Nice. Okay.
Number four is investing in solar panels or other renewable energy systems.
Okay.
You could save $10,000 to $30,000 or more over the life of the system, and you could finance it with a solar-specific loan or lease, and you should definitely take advantage of the 30% federal tax credit.
Okay.
You could also look into a power purchase agreement or PPA.
Okay.
Number five is switching to energy-efficient lighting.
Okay.
This is a relatively low-cost upgrade, and you could finance it with a personal loan credit card or look for utility company promotions.
Okay.
Number six is installing a smart thermostat and home energy management system.
Okay.
You could save 10 to 15% on heating and cooling, and you could finance it with manufacturer financing a credit card or look for utility company rebates. Number seven is installing low-flow water fixtures.
Okay.
You could reduce water usage by 30 to 50%, and you could finance it with a home improvement loan or look for rebates from your water utility.
Okay.
Number eight is upgrading to energy-efficient appliances.
Okay.
You could save 10 to 50% on appliance energy use, and you could finance it with store financing 0% interest promotions, or look for state and utility rebates.
Okay.
Number nine is installing a green roof or cool roof.
Okay.
This can really reduce your cooling costs, and you could finance it with a home equity loan line of credit, or look for local green infrastructure grants.
Okay.
And number 10 is implementing high-performance landscaping.
Okay.
This could reduce your heating and cooling needs by 20 to 25%, and you could finance it with an FHA 203K rehabilitation mortgage, or look for local water conservation rebates.
Wow, that was a great overview. So many great options for people.
There's something for everyone.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah.
We talked about loans, incentives, tax credits, ROI. It's clear that energy efficiency upgrades are a smart investment for any homeowner.
They really are.
You can save money, increase your home value, and help the environment.
All at the same time.
It's a win-win-win.
Exactly.
And we've got all the resources you need on the page below.
Yep, all the links, program details, everything.
So take a look and see what works for you.
Yeah, start planning your energy efficiency upgrades today.
So what area are you going to explore first?
Good question.
If you found this deep dive helpful, give us a like, thumbs up, and share these resources with other homeowners who could benefit.
Yeah, spread the word.
Thanks for joining us,
See ya.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye.